So let's commence with the discussion of for loop. And today I will also tell you about while loop. See, today is our, I think, last session on control structures. Okay, like if else, for loop, while loop. And what we will do from Wednesday is we will try to learn applications of this. So teaching will be done, right? Teaching of control statements is done. And now we will, in the next session, Wednesday, we will see some applications of these control structures and how important they are. Okay, so to begin with, last time, we were learning about for loop and we know it is used for repetition. Now, what is the syntax, grammar I was telling? See, for loop is always written like this. For some variable, you can use any variable like P, Q, R, X, Y, any variable. For some variable in, that word in is always there, then range. And range is always followed by bracket. Okay. Then three things are given in range: start, stop, and increment, separated by comma. And then colon is given. Now you recall what colon means. If you give colon, then the next lines will be indented. You know this from if else. So I have indented two lines here. Statement 1, statement 2. By statement 1, statement 2, you assume some statements. What it means is this for loop will keep repeating again and again these two statements, then again go back, repeat two statements, and so on. Now, as an example, I have written the example here for x. So x is the variable in word, then range 1 comma 11 I have given, then colon. Now you observe this increment, is optional. So if you watch this range 1 comma 11 I have given, I have not given increment, then by default increment is 1. If you don't give it, then increment is 1. Now I remember when I was teaching this last time, many students were having some confusion, and that is obvious. Even I was confused when I saw this for loop first time. So what I did before coming to the class, I have prepared some demonstrations to you. These slides you can watch, although handwritten slides. Okay, and trust me, after learning all these slides, and so many examples, you won't have 1% of doubt about how for loop and how range works. Actually, to understand how for loop works in Python, you need to know how range works. This is the major thing. Okay. Otherwise, everything is fine. I mean, it is understood. Now, how do you read this for loop for the first place? How do you read it in English? X will take value 1, that start value. So in the memory, there is a variable x which holds value 1. This is start value. Then for this value, this line runs. That means print x will print 1 because x is 1. After print statement, control will automatically jump back because it's a loop. Then x will take next value 2. So x in the memory is no more 1. Now x becomes 2. Why 2? Why not 3? Why not 4? From 1, why has x become 2? Because we have not given increment. Observe, and by default, what is increment? Increment is 1. So each time the loop repeats, that variable x will increase by 1. So x was 1, now x becomes 2. And again, with x equal to 2, this line runs, it prints 2, then goes back. Now again, in the memory, x becomes 3. 3 is printed, then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 is also printed. But after printing 10, so now assume x is 10 now. This is the current value of x. X is 10. Now when this loop goes back, x should take next value. Next value is 11. Okay. But that 11 is the stop value. So how is for loop designed? Whenever that variable will reach the stop value. Now x has reached 11. Then the loop will break. That means loop will stop continuing. That print statement, it will not repeat. the loop will break, and whatever is the next line that you have written, next lines will execute. One after the other, they will execute. Okay. So in simple English, you can read this as X will take values from 1 to 10, not 11, from 1 to 10, and for each value of X, that line print X will print current value of X. So output obviously will be 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 10. 11 won't get printed because 11 is the stop value. But still, many students were having confusion over here in the previous class. So what we will do in the next 5 minutes, we will arrange something so that we can understand this range, how range works. Actually, what range does, when you write range 1, 11, it gives range of values. As the name suggests, range. We are asking Python, please provide range of values from 1 to 11. Yes, 1 to 11 it will give. So range will give 1 to 11. And X knows that when X reaches 11, it should stop. Correct? Because 11 is the stop value here in the for loop. Okay. I hope now this is very much visible, I'm sure. What I was telling is, let's try to understand this range properly. What does range 1, 11 does? It gives range of numbers from 1 to 11, obviously. From 1 to 11. Here, in this example, and X will stop when X becomes 11 because 11 is the stop value. So for 11, this print X won't be printed. Okay, let's see the examples now. So we'll concentrate only on range. Range has bracket and it has 3 parts: start, stop, increment. And by default, increment is 1. So what will happen if I give range 1, 11? Which numbers will be generated? 1 to 11. And the loop will stop when the value of the variable becomes 11. Okay. Now you just check this 50, 56. What is the increment? 1. So what will be the value generated? 1 to 56. Oh, I'm sorry, 50 to 56. 50 to 56. So 50, 51, 52, and so on. Here the loop stops at 11. So it doesn't process 11. Here the loop stops at 56. So it doesn't process 56. By default, increment is 1. Okay, now I am giving you 2 rules. Remember that you will have no trouble whatsoever understanding for loop. Okay, here we go. See, this is what we are learning. Range. Range has 3 things: start, stop, increment. Now take this rule. You can take it down actually. If increment is positive, like 1 or 2, 1 means positive 1, 2 means positive 2. So 1, 2, 3. If increment is positive, then start must be less than stop. This value must be less than this value. Start must be less than stop, not even equal. It should be less than stop. I repeat, if the increment is, let's say, 1 or 2 or 3, then that means plus 2 plus 3. Then start value must be less than stop value. So look at this first example. Range 10, 12. What will be the number generated? First number is 10. Next is 11. And loop stops. Loop stops at 12. So 12 is not processed. Why 10 after that 11? Because increment was 1. I have not given increment. Okay. Now watch this. Range 10, 16. 10, 16, 2. What is the increment? Positive. 2 is the increment. Positive increment. Yeah, okay. Yes, it is positive increment. Then start value must be less than stop value. Now, what will be the value generated? 10. It will start with start value. Next value is 12 because increment is 2. Next value is 14. And the loop stops at 16. That means 16 won't be processed. Okay, 16 is not included, although we have given 16. Okay. Now, what's this third example? Range 10 comma 10. Wait, first of all, wait. What is the increment? 1. Please try to understand what is that third component, increment. Increment is 1. Positive increment. Then start value must be less than stop value. But start value is equal to stop value. Then the answer is no numbers will be generated. Numbers are generated. We call this as empty range. If you don't give start value less than stop value and the increment is positive, start must be less than stop. If you don't do that, then Python will give empty range. There will be no range of numbers generated. Okay. So suppose you write a for loop like this: for x in range 10 comma 10. And you are asked, this is the for loop, print x. Then you are asked, what will be the output of this? You will say that this for loop will not give any error. There won't be any error. But because this is empty range has not generated any numbers, this x cannot count. Actually, x is counting, isn't it? It will become start value, then it will go to next value. But x can't count anything because it's an empty range. Then for loop will simply stop and next lines will run, whichever are the next lines. That means you are asked what will be printed by the for loop. Your answer should be nothing will be printed by the for loop. Answer should not be that it will be error. Okay. I hope you are understanding. So this is an empty range. Okay. Look at this. This rule, if you remember, you will have no trouble whatsoever. If increment is positive, then start must be less than stop. Okay. Now you check this. Range 10 comma 1. What is the increment? Wait a minute, concentrate. What is the increment there? 1. Third component here is not given. Start is 10, stop is 1, increment is not given. Then increment is plus 1. Correct? Plus 1 means start must be less than stop.
Meow.
Who is that? Okay, I'll ignore that. Start must be less than stop, but start is greater than stop. Then this will be empty range. So if you write the for loop like this, you see, suppose 10 comma 1, let's say. So you are counting from 10 to 1 in increasing order. Increment is 1. Logically also you think this will give empty range. As it gives empty range, x does not count. That means for loop will never repeat and next lines will run. Okay, here we go. Range -1 comma -10. What is the increment again? Plus 1. Increment is not given. So increment is 1 by default. And when increment is positive 1, then start value -1 must be less than stop value. But -1 is greater than -10. Correct? -1 is greater than -10. Then this range will also give empty range. Okay, so I'll very quickly go to Python idle. I hope whatever questions you are having in your mind about range and for loop are getting clarified now with this simple rule. Okay, I'm coming to more rules, and trust me, it is not at all difficult to remember those rules. Okay, I have started Python idle. I'll create a new file. I'll just maximize this, and I'll say for x in range -1 comma -10 colon. Look, the cursor is indented due to colon. Oh, in word I have typed wrongly. Okay, and then I have said print x. You are asked, and suppose after this we have written print done. You also understand that print done, this line print done is outside the for loop. It is in our program, but it is not in the boundary of the for loop. So for loop is asked to repeat only print. And when for ends, when the loop ends, only then print done should be done or should be executed. Now our claim is that this range will be empty range. because increment is positive 1, then start value must be less than stop value. But minus 1 is already greater than minus 10. Then X will be empty range. Let's save this. I'll save this with my favorite name, trial.py. Okay. I'll overwrite that file. And now when we run this, only done will be printed. Are you understanding? Because for doesn't do anything, it simply stops without counting anything, and it executes next part of the program. So output will be simply done. You can see only done. Whereas if I reverse this, let's say I say minus 10 to minus 1. Minus 10 to minus 1. Now what is the increment again? 1. Positive 1. If the increment is positive, then start value must be less than stop value. Not even equal. It should be less. And minus 10 is less than minus 1. Then what will be the output? Minus 10 first. Then it is increased by 1. Increment is plus 1. So minus 10 when increased by 1, it becomes minus 9. Then minus 8. Correct? And it will go up to minus 2. After X becomes minus 2, then X will become minus 1. But when X becomes minus 1, the loop will stop. Minus 1 won't be included in the repetition. So if I save this and run this, see, minus 10 to minus 2, and then done. Done got executed only once because it was beyond the for loop, outside the for loop. Okay. So I hope you have understood this first rule very well. All right. Now I'll tell you the second rule and the final one. See, we are learning about this range, start, stop, increment. This how this is generated by Python. Now, if the increment is negative, then start must be greater than stop, not even equal. It should be greater. Okay, let's see some examples. See this first example, range 10, 1, minus 1. Now I have given the increment. See, if I don't give increment, it is by default positive 1. But I have now given increment as negative. What is the rule? If the increment is negative, then you should give start value greater than stop value. So 10 is greater than 1. Then what will be the values generated over here? It will be 10, 9, 8. See, every time, this value will be decreased by 1. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and stop. Actually, 1 is not included in the repetition. So when the loop reaches 1, it stops. Okay, let's see the second example. Range 50, 44, minus 2. Now again, start is greater than stop. Start must be greater than stop if the increment is negative. Now, the output here or the range of numbers given will be 50, 48 because we are decreasing by 2, then 46. Correct. Next value generated will be 44, but 44 will not be included in the range. So loop will stop when the value becomes 44. Okay. Next example. Very carefully read it. Range minus 1, minus 8. Wait. You have not given increment. Then increment is positive 1. Everybody agrees increment here is positive 1. If the increment is positive, then start must be less than stop. Yes, start must be less than stop if the increment is positive. Because using positive increment, you can go only in this right direction, right side. So start has to be less than stop. It is logical, right? So we don't even have to write these rules. But because the increment is positive, you're given minus 1 to minus 8. Now minus 1 is already greater than minus 8. This will be empty range. I hope you have understood the entire part. And you will have no confusion whatsoever. Actually, before leaving last time, I told you that I will then, because there were so many questions in the chat while we were leaving the class. So I decided that early in the class, I will just clarify these. So now let's see. Range minus 1, minus 8, minus 1. Now increment is negative. Increment is negative. then start must be greater than stop. Obviously, start must be greater than stop, isn't it? On the number line, start should be greater than stop if the increment is negative. Only then if you start from here and go negatively, you can reach that stop value, isn't it? So it is highly logical. And this is correct. -1 to -8, -1. Then what are the values generated? -1, then -2. Because you are decreasing -1 by 1. So -2, then -3, -4, -5, -6, -7, and the loop stops there. -8 is not included. And finally, I'm sure this you will get. -3, negative increment, 8 is greater than 0. Output is 8, then 5, because decrease by 3, then 2. And then it should be -1. 2 minus 3 is -1. But -1 is not included because 0 is the stop. So it will stop at 2. Basically, it stops when it becomes -1, but 2 is included. -1 is not included. That's it. That is how the range works. And once you know how the range works, you ultimately know how the for loop works. So now I will ask you a few questions, okay? Let's see. So my question here, is that let's put some questions on range. I have given you some range here. Just ignore the sixth one, okay? But in the chat, you just tell what will be the range for 1. So your answer should be like this. 1 dot empty range. Yeah, 1 will be empty range. I have disclosed the answer because 2 comma 2 comma 1 it is. And if it is positive, increment is positive, start should be less than stop. You have equal, then nothing will be generated. Like that. Then what will happen for the second range? What will be the value generated? Third range and so on. Okay. So I'm waiting in the chat for the answer, although this is a very big question and you will require. So please try to understand if range is correct, if it is not empty range, then always start is included. So it will start with 0. Next time, 3. Next time, you will get +3, isn't it? So 6. And next time 9 and the loop will break. So 0, 3, 6. It won't be only 3, 6. Huh? Second, I hope you understood. It will be 0, 3, 6. The third will be empty range. Third is empty range. Why? Can you count from 0 to 8 in decreasing order? Ask yourself. 0 to 8 with -3 as the increment. How can you go from 0 to +8 decreasing by 3? You can't. So it will be empty range. Okay. So I hope you understood all this. And this range you observe -8, -5, 2. Now positive increment. You can count from -8 to -5. -8, then -8 plus 2, -6. Then -6 plus 2. -6 plus 2 is -4. But your stop value is -5. So only these two values will be included. Okay. And finally, the last one, 16 to 15 in decreasing order. You remember, if the range is correct, it will include the start value 16, and then 16 will be decreased to 15 because increment is -1, but 15 is not included. So only 16 is generated. Just tell me if anybody is not comfortable over here. Strictly you tell me if somebody is not comfortable with some example over here. Okay. Now, just check the sixth one. Sixth question I have purposely written because I wanted to tell you that in range, you can include variables also. Now you watch, A is 4. And we have written for X in range, A is 4, comma, A plus 4, that is 8. And increment is not given. So increment will be +1. And we are printing X. So the output will be 4, 5, 6, 7. 8 is not included, isn't it? So you can give variables inside range. Okay, I'm just waiting here. If anybody has got any further doubt or you're not understood, Okay, one more thing students had asked, what about floats? I mean, can we write range like this? Range 1.5 comma 6.5 comma 1.5. Then we think that it will be 1.5, next time 2.5. Oh, I'm so sorry. Next time 3, because we are incrementing by 1.5. Next time 4.5. You see, range is allowed only with integer values. Start, stop, increment must be integer values. The range function has been designed like that. So right now, we will not think of floats at all. We are counting only integers. Anything you want to ask? Okay, I think everybody has understood this. So I'll proceed. Okay. Now what we will do for the next 10 minutes, recall I told you that I will encourage all of you to read the program instead of type it. You should of course type it also, but maximum, you should try to read the program. So what I will do, I will give you 5 questions. 3 out of them I will solve and 2 you solve, and I'll wait in the chat. The question will be, uh, what is the output? What is the output of the code? Okay, so some code will be given, and we are asked to check when this code runs, what will be the output. Okay, so suppose this is the code given. A is 1, B is 8, and C is 0. And I have written for X in range A plus 3, comma, B minus 1, colon. I have written C should become C plus 1. And then here you see outdented, I am writing print C. So this statement, do you understand, this print C statement is not in the for loop. So if you are asked what will the for loop repeat, you should say for loop will repeat C becomes C plus 1, then go back. Then next time again it will repeat C is C plus 1, then go back. Okay. And simple question asked is what will be the output? Okay. Now, whenever you are reading anybody's program, you should take each statement by its merit. I've seen number of times when people are asked to read the program and understand, they needlessly read complete program. No, I will never read entire program. I will first read the first line because that is going to run. Then why in the first place I will read what is written next? So when I read the first line, I say, okay, in the memory, there is a variable A whose value is 1. I will note it down. Then in the next line, B is 8. So in the memory, there is a variable B, which is 8. And then memory has a variable C is 0. Now comes the for loop. Now I will think of the for loop. Yeah, I'm sure many of you have found out the answer and some people have already given the answer. So now the for starts. Then I think X in range A plus 3. So A plus 3 here means 1 plus 3. 1 plus 3 is 4, comma, B minus 1. B minus 1 means 7. So this range is 4 to 7 and the increment is 1. So which numbers will be generated by range? It will be 4, 5, 6. That's it. 3 values will be generated. So X will be first time 4. Agreed? Next time when the loop repeats, X will be 5. Next time X will be 6. And for each of these values, this line will run. C becomes C plus 1. Okay. So let's run this line first time. When X is 4, this line runs. C will become C plus 1. Look, in the memory, C was 0. Now C will become 1. Then again the loop will go back. Then X will become 5, next value. And for X equal to 5, this line will run again. So C will become C plus 1. So C will become 2. Again the loop goes back. X will become 7 now. Oh, sorry, 6. I'm so sorry. Third repetition is going on. And C will become C plus 1. So C will become 3. And then the loop will break, because when X becomes 7, the loop breaks. And when the loop breaks, this line will run, which is printing C. So output is 3. Only one output is there. for loop has repeated 3 times, but when the for loop was repeating, it was not printing anything. It was simply adding 1 to C. So 1 has been added to C 3 times. When X is 4, when X is 5, when X is 6. Correct? So the output of this program is 3. I hope you understood how to read the program and how to manipulate the variables that you are having. Okay? Yeah, 3 is the output. Correct. Correct. 3. 4, 5, 6 is not the output because we are not printing X. Please try to understand. For loop is given the job of incrementing C by 1. Okay. So what is for doing? It says, I will repeat 3 times, making X as 4, go into the for loop, come back. Make X as 5, go into the for loop, come back. Make X as 6, go into the for loop, come back. Make X as 7, stop. Now, when it goes into the for loop, it does whatever you have said. You have said C should become C plus 1. You have not said print X. Are you understanding? So output won't be 4, 5, 6. Please try to understand what's happening in the for loop. That statement should be executed and memory should be manipulated. You will say in the memory, the value of C is changing. C was 0, then it became 1, then 2, then 3, and then final value was printed. I hope you have understood. I hope. No confusion. No confusion here. Output is 3, not 4, 5, 6. Output is generated only when there is a print statement. Is for loop having print statement? Is for loop repeating print statement? No. If there was print statement, then something will be printed. Okay, I hope you understood. Okay, so like this, we will take several such questions and I will solve initially a few and let's see how much can we grasp from the given program. Suddenly a new program. Okay. Okay, here we go. I'll open a new page. And trust me, I have not decided which programs I will teach. I am writing anything, any code I am writing. Okay. But if it is a code, it should give something, output should be given. Okay. Here is the question. Question number 2. Again, what is the output? Here we go. Suppose C is 0 and I say for X in range 1, 6 colon. Here in the indented code, look, there is a colon. So I'm writing indented code. I am having if X %2 is equal to 0 colon. I'm saying C should become C plus 1. Else, I'm saying C should become C minus 2. And then outside the for loop, I am printing C. First of all, if the program is given to you, will you read the entire program? Don't commit that mistake. Don't waste your time. You go each and every line and you know the meaning of line. Oh, come on, you know the meaning of all these lines. So basically, it's like reading newspaper. You will always read the headline and then you will go to the para. So here, what happens? What is the output, by the way? Never ever print output unless it is print. Only print gives the output, correct? Okay. So there is a variable C in the memory whose value is 0. Okay. Then this for loop starts and says X should become 1 to 6 and increment is 1. So what will be the values taken by X? X will be 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5. Agreed? 6 is not included. So what happens when X is 1? When X is 1? When X is 1, the loop will execute. Loop will execute whatever is written inside the loop. What is written inside the loop? If else. What is written inside the for loop? If else is written, then run it. Run it like any other if else. Correct? So now, how will you run this if else? If X %2 is 0, we are asking. What is X at the moment? Note, X is 1. 1%2 we are asking. 1%2, is it 0? No, 1%2 is 1. 1%2, what is the value of 1%2? Remainder, it is 1. Okay. That means this if is false. This if is false. So we'll go to else and execute C minus 2. That means C was 0, but now C will become minus 2. Agreed? After this, don't go to print. Don't go to print C. Repeat the indented code. Please try to understand this print C is outside the for loop. Repeat the for loop. So X will take next value. Next value is 2, isn't it? Second time it is repeating, but X is now 2. When X is 2, we again go inside and again run the if. If 2% 2 is 0, 2% 2 is 0, perfect division. 2 divided by 2, you get perfect division. 2% 2 is 0. So C will become C plus 1. That means C will become minus 1. Agreed? Minus 2 plus 1. Nah? Minus 2 plus 1. So C will become minus 1. And else will not execute. Because if is true, when X is 2, if is true, so else won't run and will again go back. Now X becomes 3. When X is 3, 3% 2 equal to 0 we are checking. Is X is 3. 3% 2, is it 0? No. 3% 2 is 1. Remainder is 1. So we'll go to else and C will decrease by 2. So C was minus 1. Now C becomes minus 3. Okay. Now we will go back to the for loop and X will become 4. When X is 4, again we check. Is X% to 0? 4% to is 0. True condition. So C will increase by 1. C will become C plus 1. So C will become minus 2. Minus 3 it was. It increases. So it becomes minus 2. Else won't execute. And we go back to the for. Now X is taking the final value 5. Look, the stop value is 6. So final value is 5. When X is 5, again else will execute. Because 5% to equal to 0 is false. And in the else, C is decreased by 2. So C will become minus 4. And then the loop will stop. And when the loop stops, only then this print statement runs, which prints current value of C. Current value of C is 4. Sorry, minus 4. So the output is minus 4. I hope you are reading the program properly. Trust me, you cannot read a program without using pen and pencil, pen and paper. You should trace the program like this using pen and paper. See, one way is if somebody asks you what is the output, you start the Python idle, you type the program and run it. Obviously, it will give output as minus 4. But what I am saying is there is no adventure in doing that. If you want to learn, genuinely, if you want to learn programming, then you should learn the skill of reading the program, not typing and executing. Okay. Okay. So let's see more examples like this. Now here is the third example. How many times A is printed? A is printed by the given code or given program. Some program is given and you are asked how many times is A printed by that code. Okay. So here we go. Suppose I have a for loop for X in range 1, let's say 1, 7. And so this will go in increment of 1. So X will go as from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's all. I have a condition. If X% 2 is 0, print A. If X% 3 is 0, print B. Else, print C. Okay. Okay, I'll change the question, make it more appealing. How many times, just see, I'm changing the question. How many times A, B, C is printed? I hope this is readable. So you have to find out how many times is A printed, how many times is B printed, and how many times is C printed. Okay. Now I will read this for you. This is the Python code. Now you know that X will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Correct. Okay. Start this loop with x equal to 1 because first time x will be 1. We are asking is 1% to 0? 1% to is 1. It is not 0. So this if is false. So what will happen if is false? L if will run. Ladder if. L if will run. We are asking is 1% 3 0? No, 1% 3 is again 1. 1% 3 is not 0. So then else will run and else does not have any if. So C will be printed. So C is printed once. Okay. Then we go back to the loop. X will become 2, second repetition. When X is 2, again we check. Is 2% to 0? Yes, 2% to is 0. So A will be printed. Okay. That means A is now printed once. And you recall the structure of ladder if? Now this if is true, 2% to is 0. This if is true, then rest of the entire L if and else will be dropped. I hope you understand. You recall that. As 2% to is 0, it has printed A, and then rest of the L if and else is dropped, and we repeat. We have learned this in great detail, isn't it? Then X will become 3, third repetition. Now, if 3% to is 0, note the first if inside the for. 3% to is 0? No. 3% to is 1. So we'll go to L if. And 3% 3, is it 0? We are asking. Check this condition. X is 3, 3% 3 is 0. So now B is printed once. And else will not run because if was true. So we will then go back. Then X will become 4. What will happen when X is 4? First if is true. 4% 2 is 0. So A is printed once again. Look how we are counting. A was already printed once. Now once again A is printed. So second time A has got printed. And as this if is true, none of the remaining else if and else will run and will go back. Then X will become 5. It is very easy to see. When X is 5, it is neither divisible by 2 nor by 3. 5 is not divisible by 2 or 3. Then last else will run and C will be printed once again and then we will go back. Then X will become 6. Now you have to be careful. X will become 6. So you will say when X is 6, 6 is divisible by 2 and 6 is divisible by 3 also. But please try to understand when X is 6, this if is checked first, isn't it? And 6% 2 is really 0. So it will print A. That means A is printed third time. And when one of the if is true in ladder if, rest of the else if and else is dropped. And we will go back. But now the for loop will break because it has finished all the 6 values. The for loop will break and the program will end because after for loop we have not written anything. So your answer should be A is printed 3 times, B is printed once. The answer is A is printed 3 times, B is printed once, and C is printed 2. Look, absolutely no skill is needed. If a program is given, you should be able to read it and understand and justify yourselves what the program does. Okay. Trust me, we are going to read bigger programs than this as our course progresses. Okay. A 3 times, B once. Oh, nice answer, huh? Now somebody has even given, Pavani Devi has given sequence C A B A C A. Nice. Sai Priya, I hope you have understood A is printed 3 times. You have given 2 times actually. And B is printed only once. Yeah, Naveen, correct. Shravani, correct. Absolutely right. Kundana, yes. Sir, then this code will be wrong, sir. Why? Why this code will be wrong? I didn't get. Uh, Somebody has said, sir, then this code will be wrong, sir. No, there is nothing called wrong or right. This code is not meant for anything. Is it checking whether the number is real of a number? What is it doing? Oh, wait, my internet connection is unstable, it seems. No, it's not like that. Now the question asked is if 6 is divisible by 2 and 3, then B should be, then both should be printed. No, it's not like that. I mean, was that our requirement? First of all, program is given, we are asked what will be the output. That's it. Please try to understand. This is the program, right? And we are not here to say that why both are not printed, because the program is written in that way. Program is written in that way that only one of them will be printed. Tell me, when x is 6, keep x as 6. Ask, is 6% to 0? Yes. This if is true. So it will print A. And because this if is true, tell me, will else run? When does else run? Only when if is false. But this if is true. So elif won't run and this else won't run. So how come B will be printed? If this else does not run, how will this condition get checked? This condition will not get checked because first condition itself was true. Are you following? What the answer? Yeah, okay, understood. Sai says understood. Okay. What about the main chat? Then how should we write the code? That is not our problem. Please try to understand. How should we write the code so that B is also printed is not our problem. I am saying that some program is given and we are asked what is the output. We are not to conclude something from the program. This is a meaningless program. Take my words. Some program is given. Are you able to read and tell what is the output? Okay. But anyway, coming to your question is then how will we modify this so that B is also printed? Is the question. When x is 6, then B also should be printed. Then you can give if x% 2 is 0 or x% 3 is 0. Then print A, print B. Both statements you put. That means any divisor of 2 or any divisor of 3, you will print A, you will print B. So both will be printed. Then you will not have this elif. But that is not our topic. Please try to understand. We are not here to conclude something from the program. Program was given and output was asked. Okay? I hope I have conveyed my feelings. Yes? So in the industrial examination interviews, you will be given some code. And that code won't be longer than around 8 to 9 lines. And objective type question it will be. What will be the output? A, B, C, D, 4 options. You have to read the program. You won't be given Python ID. You have to read the program and tick one of the answers. Now, you don't have to then think that why is this not getting done? This is not getting done because that statement will not run. So when x is 6, 6% 2 is 0. True condition, this is true. So this line runs. And because this if is true, else will not run, I am saying. So else if will not run means this condition will not be checked. So B won't be printed. When x is 6, B won't be printed. And this else also will not run. So C also won't be printed. Then we are not going to question what if we want to print B. We are not going to question that. Because the question itself was meaningless. Some program was given. Why we should bother that what should we do if we want to print B? Correct? Is my point. Okay. Okay, here we go. Now, let's see. Become readers. Huh? Question is, what is the output of the given code? Suppose A is 3, B is 9. Okay. And I say C is 16, let's say. Then I say for X in range A comma, let's say B minus A colon. Okay. And I say C should become, I'm so sorry. Huh? Just a second. C is 64. C should become C /2. Okay. And then outside the for loop, I am printing C. But this print is given outside the for loop. Now you observe here. Now you can continue tracing the program. And what will be the final output? Meanwhile, I will also explain. See, A is 3, B is 9. Okay, A is 3 in the memory, B is 9. And C currently is 64. Now this range for X in range A comma B minus A means X will take value starting with A is 3 and increment is 1. So next time it will be 4. But notice we have given B minus A. B minus A means 9 minus 3, that is 6. So the range taken will be 3, 4, 5. See, this is 3 and this is 9 minus 3, which is 6. So 3 comma 6 comma 1. So the range will be 3, 4, 5. So what will happen when X is 3? First time when X is 3, this line is running, isn't it? So C will become C upon 2. That means 64 upon 2. So C will become 32. New value of C. New value of C will be earlier value divided by 2. Now the loop will go back and X will become 4, second repetition. Then C will again become C by 2. Now you will use latest value of C. C is now 32. Don't use 64. So as C becomes C by 2, C will now become 16. And then repeat. Now X will become 5. Third repetition. Then C will become C by 2. So C will become 8. And then when we go back, the loop will break. Because it has attained all the values. And then final value of C will be printed. Final value of C is 8. So the output is 8. Each time the loop repeated, C was divided by 2 and result was stored by C itself. The statement was C should store C upon 2, like that. Okay. See, the topic is while loop. It is also used for repetition. So what is the syntax? You see, the syntax is you write while word, then bracket. In the bracket, you write condition, some condition, then colon. And you all know when we give colon, then cursor is indented. So suppose if I write statement 1, statement 2, statement 3, and then here I write statement 4, statement 5, and so on. By statement 1, statement 2, statement 3, we mean any statement. Like it can be if else also, you saw. In the for loop, you can write if else. So if else will repeat. In the for loop, you can write print. So print will repeat. Any statement. So what does this syntax mean, is that while will always check the condition. And if the condition is true, then while will run all the indented code. So it will run statement 1, statement 2, statement 3. These lines will run. And automatically the control will go up. And again the condition will be checked. And if the condition is again true, again these lines will run. Again the loop will go back. Again the condition is checked. If it is true, again the lines will run. Again it will go back. And imagine that the condition is false. Then only the loop will break and next lines run. So in one line, I can tell you that statement 1, 2, 3 will repeat as long as that condition is true. As long as the condition is true, those lines will repeat. When the condition becomes false, the loop will break. Okay. Just give me 2 minutes. If you are new to while loop, you will be no longer new to while loop after these 2 minutes. I am writing a code very fast on the right side. Okay. X is 1. While X is less than 11. Print X. X is X plus 1. Print done. Check this and read it according to the merit of every statement. Okay. First line, X is 1. So in the memory, there is a variable X whose value is 1. Read the next line. What does while do? While will check the condition. And remember, if the condition written in the bracket is true, only then while will repeat the indented code. Whatever statements are indented. Check the condition. Is the current value of x, which is 1, note x is 1, is it really less than 11? Yes. Condition is true. So, these two lines, which two lines? Print x and x equal to x plus 1. These two lines will run. First line is print x. So, the output will be 1. And then x becomes x plus 1 is the next line. So, in the memory, x will become 2. What will happen after that? These two lines have executed. What will happen after that is automatically the control will go up. Print done won't be done. Print done will not run because it is outside the loop. It is outdented. So it will go back and recheck the condition. How will the condition get checked? Check again. Is x less than 11? What is x now? X is 2 and 2 is less than 11. True condition. As the condition is true, it will print x. So x means 2 now. Then x will become x plus 1. That means x will become 3. New value of x is 3 now. It then goes back and checks. Is current value of x, that is 3, less than 11? Yeah, it's true. So it will again enter the while. It will print x, that is 3. And x will become 4. And this goes on, isn't it? Certainly, the value of x will become 10 after some time. When x becomes 10, even 10 is less than 11, isn't it? True condition. When x is 10, even 10 is less than 11. So it will print 10. Then x will become 11. Note the current value of x now. X is now 11. And still it goes back and checks. Is the current value of x, which is 11, is it less than 11? 11 less than 11 is false. So the loop breaks and the next line runs, print done. When condition becomes false, that print x and x equal to x plus 1 will not happen. Control will come out and done is printed. So the output will be 1 to 10. So I'll just go to Python idle and I'll just write that as x equal to 1 while x is less than 11, then print x, and then x equal to x plus 1, and then print done. You can ask your questions. Short while back, I said, no, don't think like that. Why this is not happening? Why that is not happening? So you may then always think that, okay, now sir has said that, assume the things going on. Whatever comes to your mind, you ask, okay? If I don't have strict answer, I will tell you. So this is the program I typed on the blackboard. And our claim is that the output of this will be, what happened? Output of this will be 1 to 10 and then done, correct? 1 to 10 and then done. Do you agree the same work, could have been done like this? 1 to 10 you want to print. Same work we could have done. Just a minute. Yeah. The same work we could have done by writing for x in range 1, 11, colon, print x. What will this do? It will repeat print statement. For which values of x? Values of x from 1 to 10. 11 is not included. And then done will be printed. This will also print 1 to 10. Correct? Then what we did, we know that this for will print 1 to 10. What we did, we said, okay, let's write it as while loop, we said. Maybe we dislike for loop. So we said we will write it as a while loop. Where is the cursor? I lost the cursor. Just a second. Yeah, I got it back. What we said, anyway, x is beginning with 1, correct? So how about the idea like this? That we will say x, you begin with 1. That's the first line we have given. And then we thought, that this for loop, stops when x exactly becomes 11. You remember 11 was the stop value. So in other words, we can say that the loop will run as long as x is less than 11. Like 1 is less than 11, 2 is less than 11, 10 is also less than 11. But when x reaches 11, the loop should stop. So we said while x is less than 11. Okay, then colon. Now we are indented inside the while. Now what do you want to do with x? You want to print it, print x. And the most important thing is when you are writing while loop, please listen. When you are writing while loop, you need to increase x yourselves. When you are writing for loop, you don't have to increase x. X gets increased by the increment. Remember, increment is included in that range. Increment is +1. So you don't have to say x, please increase by 1. But in the while loop, you will have to say x should become x +1. See, so easily for has been related to while. We said x should begin with 1, range 1, 1 comma 11. So x is 1. Then x should stop at 11. Stop value was 11. So while x is less than 11. And what do you want to repeat? Printing x. So print x. But don't forget to increase x by 1. Because automatic increment is not there in the while loop. It is there in the for loop. Okay. What if we don't increment? Okay, now, here is my question. Instead of answering that question asked by, I think, Sai, just check this out. I will write the while loop like this. Observe this. X is 1, while x is less than 11, print x. And then print done is outside the while loop. Okay, I'll better write this on the board. And the question is, what will be the output? This question, I am writing because one of our friends have asked this interesting question. Okay, here we go. Question is, what is the output? See, suppose I have x equal to 1, while x is less than 11, colon, print x. And then I have written print done. So the question is, what will be the output? Let's see. X is 1. Okay, in the memory, x is 1. Now the while is checked. While will repeat this indented code. What will while repeat? While will repeat whatever you have indented. That only it will repeat. Okay. Now, while x is less than 11, check the condition. Is 1 less than 11? True condition. As the condition is true, it will print x. So the first output will be 1. Then after this, it will not run print done. It is outside the while loop. What it will do, it will go back and check the condition. Listen very carefully, everyone. It is now going back and checking the while loop again. And while will check this condition, it will check, is x still less than 11? What is x? X is still 1. Hello, I think we forgot to increase x. We forgot to write x equal to x plus 1. So there was no change made in x. X remained 1. Now when while goes back and checks the condition, it sees x is still 1 and 1 is less than 11. Again, the condition is checked. This is still true. So this line will run. So it will again output 1 and then again go back. And again ask, hello x, are you still less than 11? X has not even moved. X is still 1. 1 is less than 11. True. So it will again go into that while loop and print x 1. Then again go back. Again. And the condition is true forever. 1 is less than 11. 1 is less than 11. Print x. Go back. 1 is less than 11. Print x. Go back. Then it will keep printing 1 forever. This is a forever loop. And machine will hang. Instead of saying machine will hang, Python will hang. Okay. This was the program. I forgot to increase x, you see. See the kind of while loop I have written. That means this line will never run. Control will keep hanging here itself. While loop will never break because condition is true forever and machine will keep printing 1 and control will not come out of the while loop. If control doesn't come out of the while loop, rest of the program cannot run. Let's see. I'll run this, and you will see 1 1 1 1 1 1 printed forever. This will go on forever till I either switch off the machine or I close this Python idle. Best thing is close Python idle. Or I think there is a control C, CTRL C. Let me check. Yeah, control and C, CTRL key and C, both you press together. Control, CTRL, and that C for cat. Control C if you press, keyboard interrupt will occur and program will stop. What is the mistake we did, We should increase X by 1. Only then X will become 2, then 3, then 4 and reach 11. Otherwise, X will stay 1 and it will go in a forever loop. So if I run this now, yes, it will be 1 to 10 and done. Okay. This was a question asked, what if we don't increase? The other question asked was, what will happen if I write while loop like this? While true, like this. And then some statements. I said I will come to this point when we talk about bool data type. Okay, let's not go into this. And then there is one more line called break. Okay, and one more continue. These three words, when we learn, I'll definitely discuss this. Okay. Okay. Now here is my next question. Just I think we are on top of this really. And here is my next question on while loop. Some arbitrary program I am giving, something I am giving, but you should tell whether there will be some output, whether it will be forever loop, whether no output, all possibilities are there. Okay, here we go. Question is, what is the output? X is 77, Y is 7, while X is greater than or equal to Y, colon. So indentation is done. Y is equal to X divided by Y. Then I am printing X, comma Y. Two values I am printing, and that's it. Maybe I am having print done here. Print done. So are you following that while will check this condition? If this condition is true, it will run this line and this line also. And then it will go back. Again check the condition. If the condition is true, again run the two lines, go back. Again check the condition. If the condition is false, only then the loop will break and done will be printed. So my question is, what will be the output? I think somebody has already answered. You recall we learned range, start, stop, increment. This increment is included. So if you write range 1, 11, leave it, then auto increment is 1. So if you write for X in range, then X will be 1, then next time X will be 2. Don't worry, X will be increased because increment is there. Correct? This is what we were learning. But in while there is nothing like that. There is no increment. The grammar is different, and while is designed in such a way that you should tell that X should increase by 1. So the grammar of the for loop itself contains that increment. That's why we don't have to worry about the increment. I hope you have understood that. I hope your question is clear, clarified. It comes from the grammar of the for loop. Increment is included. Okay, yes, sir. Can you improve one boy or girl has given the answer 7711? There will be more outputs. You've given only one output, 7711. 7711 is the correct. First line will be 7711. But that won't be the only output. X in this program, X is 77 and Y is 7. Okay. Initially, X is 77 and Y is 7. Infinity, yes, I. Now, if you check the while loop, is 77 greater than or equal to 7 is true condition. So you execute these two lines. then y should become 77 upon 7, isn't it? X is 77, y is 7. So y should become 77 upon 7. That means y will become 11. And then this print x comma y is going to output 77, 11. This is the first output. Value of x is printed, value of y is printed. Again, we go back. Remember the nature of while. After execution, it goes back and checks the condition. Now, what are the values of x and y? X is still 77, but y is 11. So we are now asking, is x greater than or equal to 11? Which is again true. 77 is greater than 11. Then again this loop will run and y will become 77 upon 11. Y will become 77 upon 11 means y will become 7. And we are printing x and y. So 77, 7. Can you guess the next output? It will be 77, 11. Next output, 77, 7. And this will go on forever because 77 greater than 7 is true. Next time, 77 greater than 11 is true. Next time, 77 greater than 7 is again true because y is toggling between 11, 7, 11, 7. Condition remains true forever. As the condition is true, again and again this loop runs. And this line never runs. So, if we just include this code, x is 7, 77, y is 7, and run as long as x is greater than or equal to y. And what we are saying inside the loop is, we are saying y should change. Y should become x, floor division y, and print x comma y. And then print done. Now, is somebody thinking that this is the while loop and here we have not incremented the value? Is somebody thinking? Don't make a rule that only incrementation should be done. Some change should be done so that the condition becomes false. Some change. It's not always increment. I'm coming to that point. But then what is our answer? It will keep printing 77, 11, 77, 7, 77, 11. Control C, maybe it will break. Now we should not ask question, then what should we do to remove this forever loop? How to make it correct? No, the question was, what will happen if such a code is given? Was the question. So we should ultimately say that whoever has written this code is a bad programmer. That's all. Because the question is, what is the output? We have mentioned, we have said that it is a forever loop. It will keep printing this output. Okay. My final question is, what will happen due to this? This is cakewalk for all of you. Suppose I say x is 10 and while x is greater than 0, print x. X should become x minus 1 and then print done. Print done. Do you clearly understand x is 10 and first time 10 is greater than 0? Correct? 10 is greater than 0. So first output printed will be x. So first output is 10. But then x becomes x minus 1. That means x is no more 10 in the memory. X becomes 9. Next time when the loop repeats, 9 is still greater than 0. So 9 is printed. Then x is decreased. X becomes 8. Next time obviously 8 is printed. And last value printed by the code will be 1. Last value printed will be 1 because after 1 x will become 0 and 0 greater than 0 is false. So the loop will break and then done will be printed. So please try to understand, it's not that in the while loop will only increment. It depends on our requirement, what we want to do with that variable, correct? But somehow we want to make the condition false. If you don't make the condition false, then the loop will repeat forever. I hope you understood how x is beginning with a large value, then decreasing and coming approaching 0, isn't it? So when it becomes 0, 0 greater than 0 is false, so the loop breaks. So I hope you understood grammar of for loop, while loop properly, and there is no confusion about for loop now. You have written these rules very properly. You have written these rules of the for loop. There should be no problem now whatsoever reading the range and understanding how many times the loop will repeat and when will the loop stop. When we resume in our next class, we will learn some applications of for and while, and some scenario based questions we will solve. I'll also tell you two statements: break and continue. This we will do on Wednesday. Some applications, break and continue. And on Friday, I will teach about str data type. Recall, we have been working only with int and float till now. Int and float. More on int we have worked, but int and float. We have never touched even the third data type. So our study of str data type will commence on Friday, and it will go on for 2-3 lectures. But that is it for the day.